Dear Serena, it must have been such a relief to finally have Delilah home. Poor thing must have been so scared and cold. It's great that you were able to spend some time with her and the rest of the family over the holidays. For me, this past holiday season was the first one where I didn't wake up on Christmas morning to the sound of Mom cooking downstairs. Instead, Vlad and I had a quiet celebration, just the two of us, and finished moving into our new home in Colorado. I have to admit, it felt a bit uncomfortable not being home with my parents on Christmas, even though I was there a few weeks before celebrating Dad's birthday. It's a mixture of guilt, sadness, and nostalgia. Though if we're being completely honest, I was very excited about the new place in Colorado and felt that quiet was just what Vlad and I needed at the end of that long, endless 2021. In some ways, it doesn't make that much sense that I care so much about being with my parents on Christmas. Christmas isn't a culturally relevant holiday for the Chinese. My family made it our main holiday when we moved to the US because it's the one everyone around us celebrated. The major holiday for us should be Lunar New Year, but living in the US means that we don't get it off and the warm feeling of a holiday season isn't there when it comes around, so we decided to focus on celebrating Christmas. Maybe it's that my parents are getting older or that Lunar New Year is coming up, but when I was by the ocean this morning, I was thinking about home. What it means, who it includes, and how it evolves as we get older. By the way, I'm in Hawaii. Colorado does not look like this in January. Check out this sunset from yesterday. Vlad and I have been in Oahu for a couple of days. I'm so glad we decided to come here. That sounds like, well, duh, because it's Hawaii, but I've been to other islands and didn't feel this strongly. Honolulu is the closest thing I've seen to a real-life version of San Francisco from Big Hero 6. If you haven't seen that movie, I highly recommend. There are parts of it that feel very much like a typical California city, but when you look closer, you'll notice quite a few buildings that have the modern minimalist Japanese aesthetic, which isn't something we often see in other American cities. Even more exciting is that lychee is used as an ingredient in drinks other than boba here. My favorite was this cocktail from Hiho House called Dragon's Eye. The black at the center is actually charcoal. As the ice melts, the lychee flavor becomes more pronounced and the drink becomes sweeter. I've never had a cocktail that was still enjoyable after the ice melted. Long story short, Oahu reminds me of home. It has the palm trees, which I used to take for granted when living in LA, but now miss and I'm always excited to see. I've said for many years that it is very hard to beat the views on 101 slightly south of Santa Barbara, where there's mountains on one side and ocean on the other. I don't know if Oahu's coastal views beat that, but they certainly rival it. On top of that, there are chickens roaming in the streets here.
Okay, so there's no good way to transition to talking about chicken, but I tried. But hear me out. Whenever I go back to Ya'an, which is where I'm born, it's a small city in China next to Sichuan province's capital, Chengdu, I see chickens walking around. So whenever I see it, I think of that. And generally, it's pretty delightful to see animals roam freely in a city. But anyway, back to Hawaii.
On our last day in Oahu, we went for a morning bike ride up and down the hills in Koala Ranch. Don't be too impressed, these are e-bikes with the setting called Turbo Mode that makes going uphill pretty easy. The ranch probably has the world's happiest cows, like this one, that's soaking up the sun while having breakfast, and this little one that seems to be enjoying its privileged childhood. The ranch is also famous for being a popular film location, especially for sci-fi movies like Jurassic Park. We wanted to visit the ocean one more time before leaving, so that's what we did after getting some sun and mud at the ranch. The water was this gorgeous green blue at Waimanalo Beach. It was definitely pretty enough to make the sunburn I got from swimming worth it. On the ride to the airport, I felt grateful for such a wonderful trip. I was sad to leave, but did feel ready to go home. Maybe I'm getting old or something, but being on the couch with a warm cup of tea sounds great right now. I've also missed climbing with my friends in Colorado.
By the time you get this, it will be Lunar New Year. I know that growing up in the US, Lunar New Year doesn't mean the same to us as it does to our family in Asia. In recent years, I've made more of an effort to celebrate it because it reminds me of home and it is an awesome reason to eat great food. If you were closer, I'd invite you to celebrate together. So for now, 春节快乐，祝你虎年吉祥，事事如意。
With love, Yue.